And good morning, welcome back to Morning Live. A look at your sports news in this hour. While the 2023 edition of the Dakar Rally ended on Sunday night with Qatari driver Nasser Al-Attiyah winning his 5th title in his Toyota Gazoo Racing Hilux. Now today we've roped in 2 drivers who put in a very respectable performance each in one of the toughest races in the world. A good morning to you, Giniel de Villiers, as well as Hein Lategan.
Morning.
Morning. How's it going?
Okay, gentlemen, let me start with you. I want to start with the winner of the 2009 Rally, Giniel. We look at the race this year and how tough it was, and without you having a podium finish, talk us through some of those challenges that you came across in this year's edition of the Dakar Rally.
Well, yeah, no, this year was definitely the toughest Dakar Rally in Saudi Arabia. It was our 4th time in Saudi Arabia, and for sure the organizers definitely put up a very tough race. It was also longer than the previous editions there. It was 14 stages plus a prologue, so 15 days in all. And they also made the stages very tough. So you could see from all the things that were happening every day, you know, there was big drama every day with guys falling out, you know, guys having crashes and stuff like that. So it was certainly a real test for man and machine, this Dakar in Saudi Arabia.
And Hein, we talk about this real test for man and machine. Other than Sebastian Loeb, a lot of the quality drivers have really struggled to string together enough wins to form any kind of real threat against Nasser. And would you attribute that to what Giniel has just mentioned now about these conditions being really tough this year out in Saudi?
Yeah, I mean, this year was definitely tough. They threw a lot at us. I think last year the competitors said to David Castera, the race organizer, that they want a bit more of a tough rally, a more difficult rally. And I think he decided he's going to show us what tough really is. So yeah, it was definitely it's definitely the hardest one I've ever done. I've only done 3 now. So yeah, but yeah, I think it shows, or Nasser's performance shows, that he was consistent in the beginning. He was maybe not the absolute fastest guy in the first 2 stages, but he managed to make the least amount of mistakes. And yeah, we could see as well after day 1 we were way down. Day 2 we were 11th, and then 2 days later we were 2nd, just from everybody making mistakes and falling out. So it was a seriously tough race this year.
And Giniel, let me come back to you. When we look at the race this year and we look at the different challenges that you guys experience, perhaps just bring us into your preparations going into the Dakar Rally. On average, how long would you say it takes for you to prepare yourself, for example, now as you look forward to the 2024 edition with all the car developments that have to take place, and the fact that essentially when you have a breakdown on the Dakar Rally, you literally have to be your own mechanic almost?
Yeah, most certainly. Look, the Dakar is we almost start to prepare right now for the next edition. It's you know, we've made our notes and dotted everything down that we want to improve. You know, in this kind of race, there's always things that you can improve, and you know, so we are going to be putting pen to paper and you know, try and improve what we want to do. So it's a continuous process, and you always you know, prepare. And you know, with technology never standing still, there's always something new coming out that you can try on the car and you know, and improve that. So it's a whole year process. You know, it's once the Dakar is finished, you find yourself getting yourself ready for the next one. So yeah, and then towards the end of the year, it's basically just personally for the drivers and co-drivers, you try and be as fit as possible, because you know, especially in this year, the physical demands were quite high, especially in stages. I think it was 5 and 6, where we had a lot of camel grass. So the physical hits on your body is really a lot, and what actually stops you is yourself or your body. You know, the car can take a lot more than you can take. So physically very demanding, and you need to make sure that you very well prepared, and then you probably start preparing 3 or 4 months before the Dakar for that.
And that's very interesting because, I mean, every single season is a different route, it's different conditions, different adaptability. And Henk, I want to bring you in here now. As we look at what Giniel is mentioning now, obviously you guys don't live in the lap of luxury that your Formula One counterparts get to experience once their season gets underway. And for those that are watching now and really don't understand, talk us through the living conditions that you guys actually experience once your season gets underway.
I must be honest, it's not too bad for us. We get to take a camper with, so at least we're not sleeping in a tent every night. But I mean, if you look at some of the smaller teams and the mechanics and the guys that go with us, they are sleeping in tents every night, and the weather wasn't like you'd expect it to be in a desert. It wasn't dry and warm. It was actually a really wet and really cold year. So some nights the whole bivouac or the service park was underwater. One of them we couldn't even go to. They had the crews service the cars next to the road, and then we went off and took only the car and a sleeping bag and some pillows and things, and we went to go sleep in one of the bivouacs that was flooded. It was underwater. So there was 2 nights. There was supposed to be 1 marathon stage, which means we take our camping gear and we go and camp out in the middle of the desert. So we had that one, and then because the other bivouac was flooded, we had another camping night. So two out of the 14 or 15 were there is not too bad, but there's some of the guys that are doing it every night.
That is absolutely unbelievable. I could not survive a day out in the Dakar Rally. Now, Giniel, you've touched a little bit on the physical challenges that you face out during the rally, but also, you know, when we look at the Dakar Rally, danger's never really far. When one looks at the blind crest that you guys have to summit, very life-threatening. And when we often forget that unlike track drivers, you guys essentially depend on yourselves. You rely on GPS to find the route, and it's not really unheard of for people to hear that, oh, this race driver's now been lost on the route. They don't know what's going on. Talk us through that as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of challenges that get thrown your way every day. And yes, you know, reading the terrain is one of them, and also the dunes and stuff. I mean, like you probably saw, I mean, there was a couple of crashes where guys go over the top of a dune and they misread it or they misjudge the speed and they crash on the other side. So luckily we are the cars that we drive are, made as safe as they can be. I mean, it can never be 100% safe, but as safe as they can be. You've got a 5-point harness which you strapped into a proper seat, and in case of a crash, they try to make it as safe as possible. And I would say in 95 or 98% of the cases, you don't get hurt if you crash. So. But it is certainly one of the challenges of the race to overcome these difficulties. And sometimes the organisers sent you up some of the highest dunes around. I mean, I remember towards the end we were climbing dunes of over 300 meters high, which is quite challenging and obviously quite rewarding when you manage to cross that. But yes, I mean. As you rightly said, you've also got to find your way. So nowadays, the speed is so high in the Dakar because there's so many competitive cars and drivers that you're basically going flat out from the gun, and you just got to learn to adapt to the situations. Sometimes you've got to ease off a little bit, but most of the times, I would say everybody's going flat up, trying to find the way, and obviously that's where our co-drivers play a very important role to keep us on the right route all the time.
Giniel, as well as Henk, thank you so much for your time this morning. We know that Audi spectacularly failed in this year's edition, but we are assuming that Sebastian will be looking to come back with a bang next year. And we wish you guys good luck as you try to compete again, Giniel, to add on to your 2009 title. And Henk, looking for more podium finishes. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, we were talking all things the 2023 Dakar Rally with Giniel de Villiers as well as Hein, Lategan, 2 gentlemen who really are so inspiring out on the racetrack. Those dunes can't be easy.